Good morning to all. I am K. Palnivel, Department of Mathematics. I am today going to the topic case study numerical methods, a case study on evolving graphical image of approximation with Taylor series in Department of Agriculture Engineering students in third year, fifth semester students. First going to the abstract. In this case study, we'll take a close look at the construction of a graphical image for reasoning with approximation in the context of Taylor series. In particular, it is a comprehensive case study of the given genesis and evaluation of an image created by one student who draws extensively on other images and knowledge from calculus and physics to supplement gaps in his understanding of Taylor series and reason with Taylor series approximation tasks. His process resulted in a graphical image. His process resulted in a graphical image that was leveraged to build knowledge and reason with the situation even while lacking key considerations that are central to an understanding of Taylor series. In this case study, we speak not only to considerations of a student's understanding of this particular content. This work also provides a detailed examination of the processes of constructing a graphical image used for problem solving, for which it was necessary for the student to obtain and utilize evidence to amend that graphical image. This one is the abstract. Next we will go into the introduction. Taylor series comprise a large portion of a calculus curriculum and for good reason. They are a building block that many other disciplines use as a jumping off point for more advanced topics. But students reasoning with this topic is vastly understudied in the current literature. What sense do students make of Taylor series? Do they have any image at all for Taylor series and what they are used for? The little research on students' understanding of Taylor series speaks mostly to broad themes of characterizing expert invoice tragedies, dispositions toward reasoning with them, grappling with formal definitions of convergence or use of technology in instruction. That That is, most of these important studies on students' use and understanding of Taylor series take a global perspective examining general themes. But to develop a robust knowledge of the concept of Taylor series requires the synthesis of many previous calculus content topics woven together and used appropriately to form a more complete image. The question of how students synthesize their prior knowledge and arrive at their image has not been studied. That is, we have little idea about how students construct an understanding of Taylor series from less formal prior calculus notions and how they attribute meaning to particular aspects of whatever representation of a Taylor series the reviews SPUs. Next, visual images of Taylor series. One expectation of this focus the students' construction of ideas of point-wise convergence, but with a focus on formal definitions, though it is not always students' tendency to produce visual images for Taylor series tasks. Many do access to students' visual images supplemented by their descriptions and explanations can provide additional insight into how they are constructing an understanding of topics such as Taylor series, as visualization is a fundamental aspect to understanding students construction of mathematical concepts that that is students graphs pictures and other instructions in the constructions can provide physical reference of what they are understanding of the concept with topics such as Taylor series for which students often use and academic mathematical academic language imprecisely in a genuine attempt to find ways to characterize what they understand of the topic, what they understand of the topic in for examples in the context. These visualizations become even more important to study. Martin showed unsurprisingly that mathematicians were more fluent than novices in using graphical representations both in their construction and interpretation in the context of Taylor series. His work makes clear that many students do not have a good visual image, if they have any visual image at all, of the convergence of Taylor series. And Gosnell's Martins agree, citing an additional lack of useful imaginary in textbooks chapters that students may use for reference in our experience and works in progress, which align with with and the Simpsons. Many students do in fact turn to visual images to explain and reason with Taylor series tasks. In fact, they demonstrated that even non-visualizers may have a reliable graphical image but tend to not call on it. So, in these case studies, we enter here to study with a movement of the analysis creation on students graphical images, and if they have visual image at all, convergence of Taylor series, Bisa, Nandi, and Cornelis Martin agree, citing additional lack of useful imaginary in textbook chapters also. So in this case study, we enter here to study with the movement to movement analysis, the creation of one student's graphical image that he chosen to use the play of his reasoning with Taylor series approximation tasks. Next, theoretical framework. In this case study, we investigate a student's reasoning around Taylor series, though Taylor series, though what we refer to as graphical images. We refer to a graphical image as a particular type of visual image which is made any set of inscriptions that can include multiple formal mathematical graphs and informal diagrams and pictures overlapping on the same coordinate axis. In using the term image, we do not mean to align with other uses of the term in the literature. We more closely align with a sense of graphical and pictorial representations, though simply using the term graph does not to us capture all of the inscriptions that one may make when explaining something graphically. What we share with the representations literature is the interest to investigate the potential of students, self-generation and elaboration of visual representations to enhance and advance their understanding of difficult conceptual domains and focus on the spontaneous generation and use of domain specific diagrams during reasoning. In order to investigate the graphical image, the one students we study not just in the final products is reasoning. In this Taylor series, in which the standard assessments also methods and data collections. The study makes use of the particular of 1 to 5 hour semi-structured interview with smartphone physics major was the for a larger related study. Though it will not be discussed in this case study, the purpose of the largest study in preparation was to investigate the students' consistencies in reasoning around a set of approximation tasks in calculus and physical contexts. The tasks discussed in this case study are the only two in the larger task set that elicit students thinking about approximation in the context of Taylor series. They are initially vague and written to allow participants great freedom in what they choose to attend to as they respond. The interview was adapted and he was identified the instructions as very contingent. Next, going to the conclusion. A bargain and the emphasis and understanding of what image, both correct and incorrect, the students might construct is important if teachers are to help students work toward connected formalizations. Even better, knowing how students built those images provides additional perspective for informing pedagogy around the topic of Taylor series. Returning to Martin's point, recognizing the graphical representations of Taylor series are one of the most significant factors in separating novices from experts. It is instructive to work on building students in graphical image for such a topic. However, one cannot responsibly undertake the task without first exploring how students create the understanding for themselves, studying how they leverage their prior knowledge and reasoning on a moment to moment basis, building their concept of Taylor series from the many related and more elementary concepts that come before it. Thank you for watching.